So, pillar number one, the corporate brain. Uh, how do we fix the knowledge problem? So, first, we have to talk about why you can't just give your employees ChatGPT, okay, and call it a day. The standard large language models, and when I mean large language models, what is included in it is ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, and many more LLM offerings that you have out in the world have two fatal flaws, okay, for the corporate use. The first one is a frozen brain. So most of these LLMs, they are trained on internet data from the past, okay? They don't know that you updated a travel policy this morning. Okay, so they are not updated to your information, your current organizational information. And second is the confidence game. The AI in itself is designed to be persuasive, not truthful. Okay, if it doesn't know the answer, it will just hallucinate and it will lie confidently. And in a regulated industry, as I have written in front of you, a 1% hallucination rate is also 100% failure. So the solution is an architecture called RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation. Okay. Now here is the analogy, what RAG means. Imagine a brilliant student taking a test. Okay. That is your LLM. But the student has never attended your class. Okay. So he does not know what is going on in the class. Now, RAG is simply letting that student bring an open textbook into the exam. And when you ask a question, the AI doesn't just guess, it opens the book, which is your document, let's say your PDF, finds the page, reads it, and then answers you. Now, it grounds the creative genius of AI in a boring reality of your facts. Okay. Now, how does it find the right page? Is it magic? No, it is just simple mathematics. Okay. It uses something called as vector embeddings. I know this might be getting a bit technical, but these are the jargons, the technical jargons. If you use them in any of your meetings, people would know that you have gained some knowledge regarding this architecture or regarding whatever is going on in terms of AI utilization in the world. So yeah, the vector embeddings. Okay, so computers doesn't read English; they read numbers. So I hope many of you in your school time, in your college time, or even in your industry time right now, you must have heard that computers work on binary language, zero ones, and AI is just an emphasis on that, one more layer over it. So they don't read English, they read numbers. When we feed your PDF policy into the system, it turns every single sentence into a long string of numbers. Okay. Now, this number, now let's say I ask you to imagine a graph paper. Okay. I hope everyone has seen a graph paper. You have two dimensions on it, the x-axis and the y-axis. Now, I'll ask you to imagine the third axis as well, the z-axis. Okay. So now that becomes a 3D space or 3D vector space. Now, let's imagine a vector space with 2020, 2024 dimensions. Okay. Can you imagine that? You can imagine one, you can imagine two, you can imagine three, but 2024 dimensions is just something that my brain can't handle. Okay. If you're scanned, amazing. I hope you're a superhuman as well. Okay. So, yeah. So it converts this particular string into a long string of numbers, and these numbers are coordinates in this massive vector space that I was talking about. Now, concepts that are similar sit close together on this map. So when I say apple, and a banana, they are neighbors in this particular space. And when I say Apple and Microsoft, they are also neighbors. Now, how does that happen? It is the magic of maths. Not just magic, magic of maths. It's how these vectors work. So when a user asks about meal expenses, the AI looks at the part of the map and finds the paragraph about per diem or um the meal expenses, as I said. And even if the user didn't use the exact words because it was English, this was something else, this is semantic search, okay? And it is game changing. So even though they don't exactly match, it still gets you that particular document. So a lot of vendors will try to sell you fine tuning as well. Now, fine tuning, another vocabulary for you. Now, be careful about fine tuning, okay? Now, what is fine tuning? The fine tuning is like sending, again, let's take an analogy. It's like sending that particular student who was taking that test to med school, okay? And you are retraining their brain, and it takes a lot of months for him to learn through that med school, and it costs a fortune, okay? Now, RAG is just handling them a medical textbook. They not might be not be able to perform or operate on a human being, but if there is a test they have to give and they have an open book, that's your RAG. Okay. In L&D, your facts change every quarter. Okay. And you don't want to retrain the brain every time a policy updates. That's why you just want to swap the PDF. And that is why RAG always wins. Hence, you go with the retrieval augmented generation. Now, how does this workflow works? Okay. So first step comes is as ingest. You drag and drop your SharePoint file or files, and the system chops them into small chunks or small parts, and then it converts them. And then comes the second step, which is the embed. It turns those small chunks into maths, which is those vectors that I talked about, and then stores them in a database. When I say database, imagine an Excel sheet where your one column has those vectors, those numbers, and the second one has that particular chunk of text. Okay, so imagine that. And then retrieval. So whenever the user asks a question, we go and find that particular chunk which closely lies near the question, okay, depending on that particular vector. And then those chunks are then collected. Let's say we take top five closest chunks. We collect those, we give it to LLM or the ChatGPT, and then ChatGPT answers from those five sentences rather than it trying to imagine those. And then, as I said, AI writes the answer. So yeah, fourth step is generate. Now this solves the trust gap. Okay, in rack system, every answer has a footnote. For example, you get $50 for dinner, and it gives the source for this information, saying that it belongs to travel policy 2024. It's on page number 4. And if the answer isn't in the document, the AI just says, I don't know. And now this creates a single source of truth for the entire company. So anyone asks the question, you'll get the same answer. Now, why does this look like, what does this look like for the employees? Okay. So just imagine the scenario. Okay. Imagine Sarah. Okay. It's 11 p.m. and she's stressing about maternity leave. She does want to email the HR and she doesn't want to email the HR and wait for next 3 days to get back with an answer. So she opens the bot. She asks, how many weeks do I get? Okay. The bot scans the handbook, and answers instantly, saying that you are eligible for 14 weeks. and Sarah sleeps better. HR handled zero tickets and the system worked. So there are two peoples benefiting from the system. One is the HR who didn't have to answer to a ticket, didn't have to waste time over that particular ticket, which could have been solved very easily by the RAG bot that we are talking about. And second was Sarah, who didn't have to wait for next 3 days. Now this changes our job description. Okay. When you have this kind of system in place, it changes our job description. If the AI is answering the questions, you don't need to write the answers anymore. Okay, you are not the one solving those tickets. You become a curator. Your job is data hygiene. If the policy is vague, the AI will be vague. Okay, so garbage in, garbage out. You have to fix the source documents. You manage the versions. You manage the tags that you give to each file. You are the librarian of the corporate brain. Now that solves knowledge, okay? But knowing isn't doing. That brings us to the AI Dojo. Now, this is one of the favorite parts of mine, the favorite pillar of mine, because I come from conversational AI development, and this is one of the solutions that might help you in learning and development, and this is what I strongly feel about it. So, moving forward, we have a retention crisis, okay? Knowledge retention crisis, by which I mean we spend the most money on passive formats, the videos and readings, which have the lowest retention, say maybe 10-20%. Okay. And to really learn a soft skill like negotiation or de escalation, you have to do it. You need simulation. But historically, simulations require expensive human actors. You need someone to sit in front of them. You need to simulate a conversation with them. You need to ask that actor to become angry when you're not being right on point. So that's where the AI Dojo enters. Using generative voice AI, we can spin up a realistic role play partners instantly. We can create Angry Bob, the furious customer, and we can create Nervous Nancy, the new hire who you have to train or coach. And we can scale the role play from 10 people to 10,000 people overnight. So there's not a lot of investment to do it. Now let's play out a simple scenario. Okay, a sales rep. Put on your put so your sales rep puts on a headset and the AI plays a client. Now, where is my shipment? That's what AI says. Now, this is unacceptable. That's what AI says. The rep has to respond in real time, first of all. Okay, they can't take time and read out something or read out the directions or read out the steps, what to do next. So they have to be real time. The AI is listening to the tone of the voice of that particular employee, not just words. Okay. And if the rep interrupts, the AI gets angry. Let me finish. That could be its next sentence. So if the rep uses empathy, the AI calms down and it is dynamic, it is unpredictable, and this feels real. So why is this better than real life? Safety? Excuse me, sorry. So if a new hire practices on real client and they mess up, you lose revenue, you damage the brand. In this dojo, they can crash and burn, they can fail 50 times or even more and no one gets hurt. So your motto is let them fail with AI so then they can succeed with the client. And the feedback loop of this whole system is instant. Okay. In the old world, a manager who was sitting in front of you, or maybe who might be listening to one call a month, whereas in the dojo, The AI gives a scorecard in 2 seconds or 1 minute after the session ends, and it says, you spoke too fast, 180 words per minute. You interrupted the client 3 times, excuse me, and you didn't apologize. Now, this is objective, data-driven coaching at a scale no human manager could ever match. So we have the brain, which was the earlier process. We have the dojo that we talked about. So brain being the rack, dojo being the voice agent, or the AI voice. Now, how do we run all this without hiring 50 administrators? Okay, Th- which brings us to pillar number three, the automation engine. Now we need to build an invisible admin. We have talked about this earlier as well. We are emphasizing it on it again. We need to build an invisible admin. We need to connect our systems, the LMS, the HRIS, the Slack, email, all of these, so that the data flows automatically from all these channels. We stop running reports, we start building triggers. Okay. And a trigger is a simple logic. When X happens, do Y. Uh, this is a tool, the screenshot. Unfortunately, I can't give you a live demo of this right now, but I'll surely try and give this in the next session. So this is a tool called N10, and it is a visual workflow builder. So look at this loop, okay, this one that I am showing here, okay? So the first one is the webhook. It acts like an ear, okay? When I mean ear, it is always listening. It listens for an event. So let's say a quiz failed in LMS, that becomes your trigger. If someone presses a button, that becomes a trigger. If someone visits your particular learning development site and completes a video, that becomes a trigger. So yeah, that is a trigger. The webhook is the ear that keeps on listening to these triggers, these kind of events. Then comes the logic. It checks the score. Is it as a disaster, which is less than 50%, or is it just near miss, which was near 75%? And then comes AI agent, which is the voice of the whole scenario. It asks ChatGPT-4 or GPT-4 to write a personalized tip based on specific questions missed. And then comes the part called Slack, and it sends a DM to the user. The user fills a quiz, and 10 seconds later, their phone buzzes with help, and you didn't lift a finger at all. Now, for technical folks here, okay, on this particular session, this is where we use Python as well very efficiently. We can write small script that makes smart decisions. Okay, we can check the user's history. One, like say, has this person filled this particular topic 3 times before? If yes, maybe we don't send an AI tip. Maybe we trigger a calendar invite for one-on-one with the manager. And the code decides the intervention, when to do this kind of intervention. And we are programming the logic of mentorship. Finally, we move from being reactive to predictive, okay? Or I'll say proactive. Today, you look at the report to see who failed last month, that is an autopsy. With with automation, we can connect project data, like let's say Jira or any of those, with learning development or learning data. And a warning here, the engineering team is starting a React. So let's say there is a warning there that your engineering team is starting a React Native project next week. React Native being a programming language for front end, React Native project for next week, but their skills on React Native are trending down. The system flags the risk before the project fails, And that is how learning and development gets seed at the executive table. So, what does the future look like with all this? This is your new tech stack. I have explained this earlier as well. Again, concluding with this same thing. It is not just an LMS anymore. It has an experience layer, the LPX, the learning experience. It has the intelligence layer, which is the Gen AI. Then it has orchestration layer where you use API and attend these kind of workflows to get everything together, get your data together, to send messages, to retrieve the data, have decisions made over that data, and then curate the answers for the particular user or particular learner. And it has, and you are no longer just the LMS advisor, administrator, and it also has a data layer, by the way, the warehouse. So you are an architect of this whole stack. And then comes ROI. So the ROI is undeniable here. We reclaim 70% of our time from our admin work. We increase the practice volume by 10x with these simulations. We ensure 100% consistency with RAG that we heard about, and we stop being a cost center, and start being a strategic engine. So yes, finally, I want to close with this particular image of a human and a machine. I know this feels like a lot. I know some of you are worried about your jobs. Maybe I was some days. I am still some days when I see LLM write better code than me. But this isn't about replacing L&D professionals. Okay, the AI is the engine. You are still the driver. The AI can generate the simulation, but you define the scenario. The AI can retrieve the policy, but you write that particular policy. It is an age of human plus machine going hand in hand. So, my challenge to you is simple: go back to your desk tomorrow, find one manual process, automate it, build one bot, run one simulation, stop administrating, start architecting. And if you are not sure for the tools that to use for the simulation bots, just go to ChatGPT, click on the mic, try to have conversation with that AI, know how better it is, and even on the call, if you tell it to have a one-on-one call, a conversation like an angry client, it will have that kind of conversation with you. uh, there are many tools. You might want to write this down. There are many tools. So for people who are based out of India and want Indian languages, there are tools like WAPI. There are tools like Bolna, who have mastered, even Sarvam, who have mastered this Indian accents. So you can have trainings or simulations in India. And if you want foreign accents or foreign um, conversations or foreign language conversations to happen, there are even companies like 11 Labs, Bolna, who are doing these kind of voice bots as well. So go out there, create something, and start being or start architecting something. Thank you very much. And if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
Amazing session. Thank you for covering one of the important session today. So I would like to request all the participants, as Rutvik is open for Q&A. So feel free to drop your questions in the chat box. So we still have 10 to 15 minutes to cover all the questions. So feel free to drop your questions right away. And also, meanwhile, I would like to tell you all that I do have some great announcement for all of you. So stay connected till the end. Rutvik, this question. from Ajit. Do you want me to
Yeah.
read it to you?
No, I think I have opened the chat window as well. Okay. So, are there any companies who have built something like what you talked about? Okay. So, companies, I won't say in learning and development, I've seen this happen quite recently, but where I can see the change is in interviewing process. Okay. So, the AI bot or the AI conversational bot that I mentioned, I have seen those getting applied in a lot of companies. So, what uh, the problem statement there is that nowadays, because of ChatGPT and everything, what people do or are doing is that they'll have their own resume, they'll pick up the job description, they'll feed in that resume to ChatGPT with that particular job description and say that make this particular resume in the sense that it fits this particular um, job description perfectly right. Now, what happens is a lot of companies have ATS, the automatic screening systems for these resumes. And whenever they get a resume, because it was curated perfectly for that job description, that resume matches with a very good accuracy rate. Now, when it is matching like that, you still have um, the small space where what happens is whenever the candidates get selected by the HR, it goes to a technical person to take that particular interview. And then what happens is that there is a very big knowledge gap that happens. So now that's where the AI conversational voice bots are coming into place. What they do is they have that instantaneous interviews, but the only thing that they are doing different is that here, when I was telling you for the learning and development, you are deliberately asking it to become an angry client. Whereas here, it becomes a very sophisticated interviewer, ask the right questions for that particular job description, and then if the answers are right on point and they are timely, so they also measure the time that you responded with. So let's say if I was asked a question over the call and then I'm searching for it on ChatGPT and waiting for it to answer and then start answering it, that is also timed. And that's how it creates a kind of report how well that candidate did on that particular interview. Now, let's say if you have thousands of applicants for that job description, out of which in initial days, say 100 of those had good match because of ChatGPT and everything. Now, 90% of those have good matches. Out of those 90, now you want to filter out the better ones. That's where conversational AI will come in play and filter out those 10% of good ones, let's say, for that particular job role. So, yes, I have seen conversational AI being implemented in interview cycles, but currently the adoption rate for implementing it for learning and development is low because this is my understanding, and this is what I have gained after talking to a lot of people, which is that the use case is not known. So people know the conversational AI exists, but how to use it in learning and development has always been the question. I hope I answered your uh, question. So we have one more question from Victoria. What strategies do you recommend for building practice scenarios that are closely related to desired role behaviors if organization closely guards policies and procedures to limit the risk of leaking confidential information? Building practice scenarios that are closely related to desired role behaviors. Okay, so uh, I am a bit confused with your question, Victoria. So, are we talking about confidential information going out to these tools, or are we talking about um, the confidential information that one employee might by mistake give out, and that is something you want to test with these tools? I'm a bit confused in this scenario. If you could elaborate on that question a bit, that would be great. We would like our staff to role play with AI, and we would like to use our policies and procedures to inform the AI. The organization won't allow that. Okay, cool. So there are 2 to 3 things that you can do. Uh, if it is about personal information, I think I talked about this in earlier session as well. So if it is about personal information, you can redact that information or mask that information if it includes personal information. And if there are policies, now what Bolna and even a lot of providers, AI providers, what they have understood as a company is that every company like yours own has this problem of data going out to these particular vendors. So what they have started doing is on-premise deployment of this particular scenario. Okay, so whenever it comes to voice AI has 2 different platforms. Okay, one is out of the box. You can use it on their particular platform. You just create your account, you put your all documents there, and it starts working. Now that becomes a problem for you as an organization. Then comes second, which is their enterprise version, where they allow their AI to be deployed on your particular servers in your particular company, which are their servers. And they also sign an agreement that your data is never used for training. It does not go out of your environment, for which the company or your organization would be very well to be adopting to that particular scenario. Uh, if there is a doubt about this, I have implemented this kind of solutions in a lot of banks and even healthcare sector as well. So this is something that is doable, and this can be worked very well. This works with very well with the organization as a solution as well. I hope I answered your question, Victoria. Uh, so yeah, Venkat, you have a question. Can this help in Indian context? Uh, what do you mean by this? Can you give me more context on this? Is by this, do you mean the all these 3 pillars or something like that, or just the voice AI part of this, or maybe any one of those? Mm, okay, so if it is about any of those, let me answer you in that scenario. So when I talk about these AI utilities, it most of the times comes from utilities which I have understood that there is a gap in the industry about. So whenever I go to an MNC, they might be using Copilot a lot for personal use. Okay, everyone is using it for personal use. Even today, if I want to make a presentation, even today's presentation, when I have the content with me, when I want have the points written with me at one single document, and I want to make a presentation quickly and in a fast pace, I would go with ChatGPT, Copilot, and Gemini, all those kind of tools. So for personal development, people are using it a lot, but when it comes to industrial adoption, that is less. Okay. So every company industry-wide has given Copilot license to their employees, but they are not using Copilots all strength. Okay. Copilots can make agents. People are not making agents. They are simply using it to chat, ask it to make presentation, or just simply have conversation and have ideation maybe, but that is again personal use. Now when I make an agent which can answer every of my HR query, I myself, when working in an MNC, go to my HR thrice or twice a week to ask a simple dumb question which she might have answered to n number of employees in the company, that is where the simple AI agent comes into play. A simple document answering all the questions that she might have um, figured out, or she might have seen herself giving answer to those a lot. She might just write a simple document with all those answers to those questions, and you can have a rack system which can answer those from that document. We are trying to free up her time so that she can do her job even better. Then, when it comes to conversational AI, in Indian context, I'll say it is still adopting. Why I say adopting is because, but again, when you're talking about corporate clients or corporate people where L&D is implemented, there the audience is already well versed with English or Hindi or any particular language in India, as you wanted to take Indian context, right? So for that, the conversational bots are very well worked out. Now, people talk about conversational AI is failing in public context. Why does that fail in public context? Is because of the accent. So in India, every few miles, every few kilometers, you can see the accent changes, the language changes. So to cater to that kind of change in language, change in accent, it is quite difficult for AI to generalize that, and it will get there for sure. Right now, it still can capture a lot of accents, but still there might be a small gap here and there. So in public context, it might feel, but in corporate context, where you have your internal teams training, who have their English language, Hindi language, Marathi language sorted to a certain level, that time this still works perfectly well. Okay, so yeah, that one works perfectly fine with the scenarios as well. So I hope I answered your question, Venkat Lakshmi. Uh, I'm sorry for mispronouncing it if by any chance I did that. Thank you, Mani. Thank you for the amazing comment.
So, Rutvik, I see that's all question we had for today. I
Perfect.
can't see any
Fine.
other questions, right? So,
Yeah.
dear participants, thank you so much for amazing question, and thank you so much, Rutvik, for answering it wonderfully. So, as I mentioned, that I do have some quick announcement, but before that, Rutvik, do you have any final statement to share with all of the participants who joined us today?
Nothing very specific to any scenario, but again, to revise on that sentence, that I want you to get away from that manual process, automate it, build one bot, run one simulation at least, stop administrating and start architecting the whole solution of learning and development. And I hope this helps you. And if anything, get back to me on LinkedIn. I'll have a great conversation with you and we'll discuss the scenarios and use cases even further. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Ritvik, for sharing such a nice thoughts. And I have already shared Ritvik's LinkedIn profile link in the chat box. Feel free to reach out to him. He's happy to help you all. As you all know, that he has a lot of information to share regarding the AI, right? So feel free to reach out to him, and you can reach out to him anytime for any information that you want regarding any session that he has taken. Thank you so much for attending today's session. I'll be announcing some upcoming webinars, and of course, this is the important announcement that I would love to make. Today, so this is regarding the today's feature certification. We had a session on, you can opt out for this certification, which is certified learning and development professional. You can use this promo code, which is LND20, to get 20% discount. Many of you are already aware of this certification that we do provide. It is globally recognized once, and we do provide the learning resources where you'll be getting a lot of case studies to work on, e-learnings, and book of knowledge. This certification gives you lifelong learnings along with the learning flexibility, and you'll be getting chance to connect with our training partner channel and you'll be having opportunity to work on capstone project, which means this is something real time AI simulation practice, right? So grab this opportunity, do sign up yourself for the certification program, or if you need any assistance or any help with this, feel free to reach out to a learning advisor. You will find the contact details in the chat box. And this is regarding the utility tool. So this tool is really amazing. We have got a lot of lovely responses from the previous participants. So this tool will help you to improve your LinkedIn profile score. It will provide you the tips how to improve your LinkedIn profile score along with your AI skills score. Also it will help you to build your personal brand, and also it will help you to create AI generated resumes. A lot of features it has, so do check this out. You can use this AUG 100 to get 100% off, which means completely free, and this is only for our webinar attendees. So check this out. I have already shared the utility link in the chat box, and I'm very happy to make this announcement that we are currently running 3 webinars in the GSDC. The first webinar that we have scheduled on AI in Action 2026, predict, protect and perform across industry. So this is scheduled from 19th to 23rd this week with this incredible panel of speakers lined up. So please do join us with the time slot 7:30 a.m. Central, 9:30 p.m. Singapore, 7 p.m. Indian Standard Time, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So this is another webinar series on ISO governance that works in the real world. We do have incredible panel of experts, industry experts aligned for this as well from 19 to 23rd January 2026 with the time slot that is 8:30 a.m. Central, 10:30 p.m. Singapore, 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So please do join us for all our upcoming session, or you can refer your friends and colleagues. You will find all the registration links in the chat box along with the WhatsApp link, and we do have this referral champions. Let's congratulate to them and appreciate them for the efforts they are taking towards referring people to the sessions like this, powerful sessions like this, right? So do refer maximum people to knowledgeable sessions and get rewards which is worth $400, and top 3 winners will be featured on the GSDC Wall of Fame. What is the eligibility criteria? You have to earn at least 50 or more than 50 points to be winner, and we'll be getting back to all the winners with the rewards which is worth $400. And in case if you're looking for any speaker opportunity at GSTC, feel free to reach out to us. You can share your speaker profile with us at preetham@gsdcouncil.org or pratibha@gsdcouncil.org. You can share your speaker profile. We'll get this reviewed and make sure that will be get back to you for the speaker opportunity if your criteria matches with your profile. As you all know, we have this global platform for all of you, learning capsule, webinar and podcast. So also we would love to connect with you all over social media. You can scan this QR, connect with us over LinkedIn, check our website for more information regarding all the certifications that we have and other offerings that GST has for all of you. Also you can track our upcoming webinars on the website, and please do connect with the WhatsApp group to get daily update on events, workshop and boot camps that we often conduct for all of you. And please do share your valuable feedback on reviews.io. Thank you so much everyone for joining today's session. Hope to see you all for the upcoming session as well. Until then, take care of yourself and keep learning. Thank you.